Chapter 51 The Former Big Devil. You are listening at novelfold.audio. The words are divided into two parts. Red. Let's talk about the secret realm of Biopuzzi. This place is different from what Xiao Dyer, Xiao Xian and others thought before, because there seems to be no so-called test in this secret realm. Not only was there no test, but it was actually a virgin forest inside. In this primeval forest, there are still many beasts. Every beast is incredibly strong, at least with mid-level fighting spirit strength. What's more, he has reached the level of a half-step war king, even if Xiao Dyer and Xiao Xian join forces. They are no match for these monsters. Even Xiao Dyer, the two descendants who were blessed by Yi Fan, can't compete with these monsters, let alone those ordinary monks. Just after entering the secret realm, and in less than a cup of tea, monks were killed one after another by monsters. After all, there are too many monsters here, as if they are endless, and it is impossible to kill them all. Roar! Just less than 10 meters away from Xiao Dyer, another dragon raptor appeared. After a low roar, it shattered the mountains and swallowed a group of monks along with it. The scene is so horrifying. Oh my god, how many half-step war king monsters are there in this secret realm? I just killed one and another one came out. Are they really inexhaustible? Xiao Dyer complained to Xiao Xian, and at the same time led him to dodge far away. When we entered the secret realm before, didn't Master Biopuzzi say that opening the secret realm was to test the monk's cultivation? How did it end up in this situation? Xiao Xian curled his lips and said. Junior brother, aren't you talking nonsense? It was just a projection of the real person Biopuzzi just now, probably left behind N years ago. This secret realm has not been taken care of for so many years. I am afraid it has changed a long time ago. From the moment I entered the secret realm, my Tao weapon divine sword started buzzing and humming. Xiao Dyer glanced at the Taoist divine sword hanging on her back and said this to Xiao Xian. She knew in her heart that the reason why the Taoist divine sword whistled was to send a warning to her, because there are beings in this world who are far more powerful than them. What should we do? How can we enter Baoshan and come back empty-handed? Is it possible to go back like this? Xiao Xian was helpless. Crossed the river by feeling for the stones. Xiao Dyer had no other choice. Come die. Suddenly, where Xiao Dyer was standing just now, there was a young man eating a green steel knife and killing 3 in and 3 out of the pile of monsters. The waves of the knife skills overlapped one after another, and the waves were like Xuanyin, sweeping towards the surrounding monsters. With the last blow, the young man cut down the half-step war king's dragon to the ground. Oh, isn't that the young man we met at sea? Xiao Dyer said. Xiao Xian ignored Xiao Dyer's remarks, but his eyes fell on the fat Taoist priest in the distance. The fat Taoist priest is here too. When Xiao Xian saw Wei Tian, his eyes also swept over. Immediately, Wei Tian waved to Xiao Xian and said, this place is too dangerous. How about we join forces to defend against the enemy? I didn't expect you to be so fat and so timid. Before, he had always listened to Wei Tian's nonsense, but now Xiao Xian finally took the opportunity to confront him. Master Dao, I'm not timid. On the contrary, I'm worried that you will be afraid. Do you understand? Wei Tian said calmly. Xiao Xian. Wei Tian refreshed his understanding that people who are shameless are truly invincible. However, the four finally chose to form a team. After all, there are endless monsters here. If you don't form a team, it will really kill you. Friend, your sword skills are very sharp. Xiao Xian praised Zhong Liang on the way. Zhong Liang ignored this, looked at the small wooden stick in his hand. His face changed slightly. I'm afraid it's not as sharp as the wooden stick in your hand. Xiao Xian pursed his lips, feeling that Zhong Liang's words were a bit awkward. The small wooden stick is indeed very powerful, but it has not been activated yet. It is just an ordinary small wooden stick. In fact, the dark wood sticks burned by charcoal fire are not even as good as ordinary small sticks. No matter how you look at it, you are stupid. On the other hand, Wei Tian rarely spoke. He looked at the wooden stick in Xiao Xian's hand, feeling a little shocked. Interesting, why does the wooden stick in this little guy's hand look a bit like something belonging to Master? But how can this young man recognize his master at such a young age? Maybe I'm dazzled. Duanping shook his head, looked into the distance of the secret realm, and murmured in his heart, why does the evil spirit in this secret realm feel familiar? Could it be an old friend? Immediately, the four of them continued walking forward, the four people teamed up and set out on the road, which was indeed much faster than before. Not long after, Xuanyin and the others followed the large army and walked to a blood mountain deep in the secret realm. This blood mountain is very weird. Other mountains are all green, but the mountain in front of me is actually blood, as if dyed with blood. Moreover, on this barren mountain, there is still a strong sense of blood evil that is faintly exuding, which makes people's hearts palpitate. At this time, many monks were already surrounded in front of the blood mountain. In addition to high-level fighting spirits, there are also many masters who are at the half-step fighting king level. It's actually a mountain of blood. Is this some kind of treasure? Xuanyin was a little surprised. This barren mountain is very evil, let's stay away from it. Xiao Dyer warned. On the side, Wei Tian and Zhong Liang also stayed away from each other. They all have treasures that can detect good and bad luck, so they instinctively don't want to get close. At the same time, the monks gathered in front of the blood mountain finally couldn't bear it anymore. They began to discuss splitting the blood mountain to get the treasure inside. After all, people die for money and birds die for food. How can you get treasures without taking some risks? These monks want to split the mountain. Fatty, should we wait here? Xuanyin asked. Wait for nothing. My intuition tells me that this blood mountain is unusual. Otherwise, let's run. Wei Tian suggested. Fatty, did you find something? Xuanyin looked at him with contempt. Fatty Wei opened his mouth and was about to speak, but at this moment, the half-step war king monks surrounding the blood mountain had already split the blood mountain. However, there are no treasures in the depths of the blood mountain. There is only a statue. The statue is about 2 feet high, and the whole body is poured with blood. The thick blood evil is filled, which makes people fearful. Is this Master Biopuzi? Why is there such a strong aura of blood evil? Blood evil? No, this is not Master Biopuzi, this is the big devil blood evil back then. It turns out that the blood evil who massacred all the major sects in Beizhou 10,000 years ago is now hiding here. In the crowd, 3 war king monks who suppressed their cultivation to half-step war kings started to discuss. They have all lived for tens of thousands of years, so they know these secrets. After speaking, the 3 war king monks instantly recovered their cultivation and prepared to escape from here. At this time, Wei Tian on the side was suddenly startled and shouted to the statue, 5th brother. Why are you here? Chapter 52. The bad taste has reached. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 52. The bad taste has arrived. Senior brother. Wei Tian's shout made Xuanyin and others on the side stunned. Damn Fatty, this big devil is your senior brother. Then why do you want to team up with us this time? I'm afraid you don't want to seize the treasure and kill people. Xuanyin asked Wei Tian. Bang bang bang. At this moment, the statue in the pile of stones moved. This sound reached the hearts of everyone present, like drums beating in unison. Another example is the beating of the heart. At a certain moment, the blood-colored stone exploded completely, and a blood-colored man stepped out. His whole body was covered with blood, and veins of blood-colored runes were wrapped around his body. The man stood in the pile of rocks, and the endless bloody evil energy visible to the naked eye was gathering towards him like Yang. The next moment, the man opened his blood-red eyes, and blood shot out from his eyes, sweeping across the many monks present with a mighty force. Puff puff puff, that the bloody eyes were like sharp swords, killing thousands of monks in the blink of an eye. Damn it, the devil has revived. The wind is blowing. Wei Tian shouted, then pulled up Xuanyin and the other 2 people and ran away quickly towards the rear. Damn fat man, didn't you say that the devil was your senior brother? Then why did you run away? Xuanyin shouted loudly. You know what the heck? Didn't you see that he has become a demon? Besides, my 5th senior brother is practicing demonic arts. If he really goes crazy, it will be a complete disownment. Only the master can suppress him back then. Master is not here now, and neither are my brothers or sisters. Why don't we run and wait to be killed by him? Follow me and get out of here. Wei Tian roared loudly. Xuanhuan couldn't help but said, "Damn fat man, you don't want to lead me to a more dangerous place so that you can seize the treasure in our hands." Hearing this, Wei Tian stared at Xuanhuan fiercely. "You brat, you can choose not to follow me, but you can't doubt my character, otherwise I will kill you now." This was the first time the three of them saw the fat Taoist priest getting angry. "My senior brother practices the Tian Sha demonic skill. Once you become possessed by this skill, your cultivation level can skyrocket to several levels." "Damn it, didn't Master solve this problem thousands of years ago? Why is the fifth senior brother still going berserk?" Wei Tian muttered as he ran. "I think the devil's escape skills behind him are also extremely amazing. I'm afraid we won't be able to run very far. It's better to turn around and fight with him. Anyway, there are 4 of us, so there's no way we can suppress him." Xuanyin suggested this as he saw the devil chasing him closer and closer. As soon as he finished speaking, the color of the sky and the earth suddenly changed, and a touch of blood-red clouds dyed the earth here red. At a certain moment, the 3 War King monks flying in the front were all chopped down without exception. He couldn't even make a move to resist. Seeing this scene, Xuanyi's face fell. Remembering that he actually proposed a frontal resistance just now, he just wanted to slap himself twice. Xiao Dyer looked at the blood evil in the void and couldn't help but said, "What a strong evil spirit. This is the crazy evil of the 5th senior brother." Back then, the master gave the 5th senior brother a heavenly evil and an earthly evil. Now, the 5th senior brother is still using the evil. If he waits for him to use the evil, then this world will no longer exist. While running, Wei Tian explained. "Evil from heaven or evil from earth?" After hearing Wei Tian's explanation, even though they didn't know exactly what Tian Sha was, just hearing the name gave them a sense of boundless killing. At a certain moment, a flash of blood in the sky quickly expanded in scope. Not long after, it filled all the space in this secret realm. "It's over, I can't run away." Just now, Xuanyin and the others saw clearly that the devil's attack method was to wrap the monks with blood demons and then strangle them. Now the entire secret realm is wrapped in blood energy, as if everyone's energy is locked. Then in the next moment, everyone here may be doomed, being chased by this bloody demon. Wei Tian had no choice but to chase him into the void. The bloody man shouted, "5th senior brother, I am 8th junior brother, don't you recognize me?" Following Wei Tian's shouting, the bloody man in the void turned his attention here. "The damn fat man who stepped on the horse was the one who was harmed by you just now. Now he is shouting here again. This devil is coming to kill him again." Xuanyin grabbed Wei Tian and said, but it was obviously too late. The bloody man with his feet in the void had already used the blood evil to lock Xuanyin and others' energy. A pair of blood-red eyes revealed a bit of surprise. Master's aura. The horse throat sounded like a beast's roar. It's over, it's over. This devil really noticed me. Fatty will be killed by you now. At the critical moment of life and death, Xuanyin took out the little leaf from his arms, and now he had to place all his hopes on his ancestor. On the side, Xiao Dyer also took out the Taoist soldiers, while Xuanhuan took out the portrait of Yi Fan that he carried. "I invite our ancestors to show their power." Xuanhuan held up the portrait and knelt down. Wei Tian was a little surprised, and glanced disdainfully at Xuanhuan, who was lying on the ground. "Are you a fool? You think asking for mercy will prevent him from killing you?" At the same time, the portrait in Xuanhuan's hand, together with Xuanyi's small wooden sticks and small leaves, floated above the crowd. At a certain moment, several magic weapons actually merged together. Suddenly, the Biopuzzi secret realm was filled with light, fairy clouds were swirling, stars gathered, and countless runes were intertwined. There were billions of divine lights, soaring into the sky, and the magic power was vast. The next moment, a man in a moon-white Taoist robe tore through a void and drilled out. The man's robe fluttered, and there were stars gathering in his eyes, with divine light shining and extremely deep. Ancestor. Master. 2 different names came from Xuanyin and Wei Tian. In an instant, Wei Tian and Xuanyin were staring at each other. Their minds were full of confusion. After a long time of emotional arguing, the ancestors mentioned by these young men turned out to be their own masters. Not only Wei Tian was surprised, but Xuanyin and others were also inexplicably surprised. Unexpectedly, the master mentioned by this fat man turned out to be his own ancestor. Looking at the expressions of the descendants below, Yi Fan smiled. His evil taste reached its peak. This time, he asked the descendants to come to Bio Puzi's secret realm just to see this scene of theirs, but what Yi Fan didn't expect was that one of his disciples, Wei Tian, was actually here at this moment. Not only Wei Tian was here, but also one of his former disciples was in front of him. Yi Fan had thought before that his former disciples were probably no longer in Beizhou. Then, Yi Fan glanced at the blood-colored man in front of him and said lightly, "Old Five? Among all my disciples, you are the most troublesome. It looks like you have been possessed by a demon again. Wait, this doesn't seem to be your real body, but just a demonized clone." Hearing this, the blood-colored man in the void paused. Chapter 53. Just follow the master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the void, the blood-colored man felt Yi Fan's breath and couldn't help but tremble all over. Read. Master. The blood-colored man's blood-red eyes flickered constantly, and the hoarse beast roar sounded again, but this time, all the cultivators below heard what he said clearly. After all, it was just a single syllable, and even the roar of the beast was easy to distinguish. As soon as these words came out, many cultivators present were shocked. They never thought that such a terrifying big devil actually had a master. This disciple is so powerful, then what kind of great achievements and merits should Yi Fan, the master, have? At a certain moment, all the cultivators below couldn't help trembling. Although they were all the prides of the northern state, but in front of this big devil and his master, they were just like ants, letting them control them. After the blood-colored man said this, the blood in his eyes completely covered his eyes, then he rushed towards Yi Fan and killed him. You are so good, Lao Wu, you have become so arrogant that you dare to attack master. When I find your true form, I will definitely spank you. Yi Fan shook his head and sighed. After speaking, Yi Fan stretched out a big hand and reached forward. Then, the bloody man was caught by Yi Fan's big handprint and held in his hand, unable to move. Gulp. Seeing this, Xiao Dyer and others below couldn't help swallowing their saliva. It's only been a few days since I last saw him. I didn't expect that my ancestor's cultivation has improved a lot. It was so easy to solve this big devil. Master. I have been looking for you for a long time, and I finally see you today. Wei Tian knelt down to Yi Fan, tears and snot all came out. This expression was like a wanderer who had been away from home for many years, finally returned to his hometown and met his closest relatives. On the side, Xiao Dyer and others were also shocked to see Wei Tian like this. I didn't expect that this fat guy who had never been serious would have such a side. Wei Tian didn't care about Xuanyin and the other surprise. He was so excited when he saw Yi Fan appear because he missed him too much. Although he was Yi Fan's disciple, Yi Fan treated them as his own children. Whether it was Wei Tian or other disciples back then, they could be said to have been raised by Yi Fan. Although they were not his own children, they were better than his own children. This feeling was not something that others could understand. Wei Tian recalled his childhood when his family was massacred by strong men. Just when he closed his eyes and waited for death, Yi Fan appeared. He saved Wei Tian from the bandits and avenged him. Since then, Yi Fan has been Wei Tian's only relative. Little Wei, you are still so fat after so many years. Yi Fan helped Wei Tian up. After a pause, Yi Fan continued to ask, by the way, didn't you leave Beizhou with other fellow disciples back then? Why are you the only one back now? Wei Tian recalled for a while, and finally shook his head. Master, I just finished practicing the 9 revolutions heavenly art, and I don't remember anything about my past life. Yi Fan sighed. Master, I just noticed that you are only at the battle soul level now. I'm afraid you have forgotten everything about your past life. I just asked casually. Grandfather. On the side, Xiao Dyer, Xuanyin and Xuanhuan also came to Yi Fan and bowed to him. Yi Fan raised his hand slightly, and a gentle breeze lifted the 3 of them up. Not bad, it seems that my 3 descendants are not lazy. Yi Fan glanced at the cultivation of Xiao Dyer and the others, and said with relief, before, the 3 were all at the initial stage of the battle soul. Although they have not reached the high level now, they have improved by several levels. Seeing this scene, Wei Tian's face was strange, and he muttered secretly, "Master, you are really strong and healthy. With so many descendants, you are really prosperous." Ouch! Before Wei Tian finished speaking, Yi Fan gave him a head bang, and the former cried out in pain. Yi Fan glanced at Wei Tian. "Little Wei, you dare to tease Master, these descendants are all left by the forces back then. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will give you 100 head bangs." Seeing Yi Fan say this, Wei Tian's fat meat twitched constantly. It can be imagined how much shadow area the head bang brought to him back then. On the side, Xuanyin was watching very enthusiastically. Unexpectedly, the fat man who seemed to be fearless actually had something to fear. If this fat man quarreled with him again in the future, he could use this to fight back. At this thought, Xuanyin was very happy. Afterwards Yi Fan looked at the blood-colored man who was caught in the air by a big handprint and could not move. Strange, didn't I improve the Tiansha demon art back then? How could Lao Wu still go astray? Could it be that Lao Wu's original body lost his consciousness, so he couldn't suppress this demonized clone? According to this logic, Lao Wu's original body lost his consciousness, so he might have been captured or seriously injured. Thinking of this, Yi Fan's eyes flashed with anger. How dare someone hurt his disciples? This is simply against the sky, it's against Tiangang. Put this incarnation away first, and keep it for me to find myself later. Yi Fan pulled his hand back and put the blood-colored man into the space. Hey, when the disciples went out to make a living, I should have left them a magic weapon that could be used for communication, otherwise, it wouldn't be so difficult to find now. You know, the 30,000 Dao realm is so vast that looking for someone in it now is like looking for a needle in a haystack. However, every disciple I taught is a brilliant person, and I think they will not be unknown. When Yi Fan advances to the War Emperor realm, he should be able to find the whereabouts of his former disciples after going out to inquire. Then, Yi Fan waved to Wei Tian and others and said, "Follow me." "Master, where are we going now?" Wei Tian asked subconsciously. "How can we return empty-handed after entering the treasure mountain?" "Naturally, we should look for the magic weapon left by old man Bao Puzi." Yi Fan said with a smile on his face, "The magic weapon left by old man Bao Puzi." Seeing Yi Fan say this, Wei Tian was stunned. "Master, the secret realm left by Bao Puzi was destroyed by the fifth senior brother. I'm afraid there is nothing good left." Wei Tian couldn't help but say. "That's not necessarily true. Just follow me." Yi Fan brought Wei Tian and others to a high altitude in the secret realm. The next moment, Yi Fan pointed out and tore the void in front of him. Then, Yi Fan led Wei Tian and others into it. Everyone was a little surprised. They didn't expect that there was another cave in Bao Puzi's secret realm. In this cave, a pond evolved, which was full of golden lotus and lingering with fairy air, like a fairyland. In the middle of the pond, there was an old man sitting with his eyes closed. Oh! It turned out that the Taoist friend from that year came to visit. "I haven't seen you for so many years. I thought you had fallen." The old man opened his eyes and said, and instantly understood the situation in front of him. As soon as the voice fell, his body was entangled by endless light and filled with spatial power, which obviously triggered the teleportation formation. "Huh, you couldn't beat me 10,000 years ago, and now you can't even think about getting my treasure, ha 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 ha." Just as the old man was about to be teleported away, Yi Fan kicked the old man's body and knocked him to the ground. Tianzhao. Chapter 54, Antian Sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 54 Antian Sword. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. In the cave created by Bao Puzi. Yi Fan looked at Bao Puzi who was kicked to the ground by him, and said with a smile, "Old man, the original body has passed away, and a remnant of it dares to be so arrogant. It's simply ignorant of life and death." Bao Puzi struggled to get up from the ground, his face full of astonishment. Are you a human or a ghost?" That he saw that what Yi Fan had come here was just a clone, but now even this clone has the strength of the war candidate realm, so what kind of terrifying strength should Yi Fan's original body reach? It doesn't matter whether I am a human or a ghost, but you are definitely a ghost. Yi Fan laughed. Bao Puzi's lifespan has come to an end. Isn't the consciousness left behind his ghost? Stop talking nonsense. It's time to hand over the treasures and inheritance you have collected over the years. Seeing Yi Fan urging him, Bio Pussy sighed, it's impossible for him to run away at this moment. Instead of letting Yi Fan destroy his last consciousness, he might as well be more sensible. Hey! I can give you the magic weapon, but the inheritance is absolutely not allowed. I practice swordsmanship. Your way is different from mine. It's useless to give it to you. I still have the inheritance and continue to pass it down in this world. Bio Pussy said helplessly. Old thing, you talk too much nonsense. Xiao girl, come here. Yi Fan called Xiao Dyer and pointed at the latter and said to Bio Pussy, my descendant is also practicing swordsmanship, and it's still the realm of fighting spirit. Can you hand over your inheritance now? Hearing this, Bio Pussy glanced at Xiao Dyer. You don't know until you see it, you'll be shocked when you see it. Bio Pussy, who was born with a sword body, saw Xiao Dyer's extraordinary physique at a glance. Wow, it's actually a divine weapon jade body. Bio Pussy's face was full of shock. He never thought that he would encounter this kind of physique that only appears in 10,000 years. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The divine weapon jade body is the best in the world. There was a divine weapon before there was heaven. It is indeed a divine weapon jade body. Bio Pussy said 3 wonderful words in a row, clapping his hands in admiration. The divine weapon jade body is a rare physique in the world. The most suitable method for its cultivation is various weapons. The sword is the gentleman among all weapons. As a woman, if Xiao Dyer can practice swordsmanship, she will definitely get twice the result with half the effort. Wonderful, wonderful, little girl, learning my swordsmanship can bring peace to the world. Are you willing to inherit my swordsmanship of heaven? Bio Pussy asked Xiao Dyer excitedly. After saying this, Bio Pussy turned around with his hands behind his back, expecting the sound of dong 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 to kowtow later. However, Bio Pussy waited for a long time, but did not hear the sound of kowtow from behind. This made him feel a little strange, and he could not help but turn around again. As soon as he turned around and saw the scene in front of him, Bio Pussy almost collapsed. Ancestor, this old man always meows. Is he a pervert? Hey, Xiao girl, what you said is right, but this old man is a battle-waiting monk after all, and it's okay for you to learn his swordsmanship at this stage. Hearing Yi Fan and Xiao Dyer whispering here, Bio Pussy almost vomited blood. Damn, this little girl is so rude. She actually questioned whether I was a pervert, which really pissed me off. A scholar can tolerate it, and my aunt can't tolerate it either. Just when Bio Pussy was about to explode, Xiao Dyer nodded and said, okay, I accept the inheritance. Meow meow meow, I'll take out the inheritance for you. Bio Pussy heard it and said 3 more meow, and then he came over and handed a jade mirror to Xiao Dyer. Little girl, keep it. This is the complete technique of my Antian sword Dao. You can ask me if you don't understand it. At this moment, Bio Pussy Xuanhuan didn't look like a hermit at all. He looked like a real fragrance. Seeing this, Yi Fan couldn't help shaking his head. It's just a divine weapon jade body, and you are so eager to catch up. If you knew that I have a better Dao Saint body, you would probably treat it as a cat incarnation. Okay, let Xiao girl stay here to comprehend. Let's go out. Then, Yi Fan waved his hand and took Xiao Xian and others away from Bio Pussy's secret realm. Xiao Xian, Zongliang and Wei Tian, the matter here is over. You can also go back to the 10,000 mountains. Remember, practice hard after returning, and practice to the War King realm as soon as possible. Yi Fan looked at Xiao Xian and others and said to them. Don't worry, Ancestor, we will certainly not let you down. Xiao Xian and others shouted in unison. Seeing this, Yi Fan nodded slightly, and then his figure disappeared. After Yi Fan left, Wei Tian put his arm around Zongliang's shoulders. Little brother, it turns out that you are really my master's descendant. I was wondering why you look so familiar. Now seeing Zongliang and other descendants of Yi Fan, Wei Tian couldn't help but think of it. Back then, they and their fellow apprentices followed Yi Fan and practiced together. With this relationship, the 3 of them quickly became emotional. Xiao Xian pestered Wei Tian and asked him to talk about what happened back then. Seeing that he couldn't push it away, Wei Tian said with some emotion, time flies, years pass quickly, and it's been 10,000 years in a blink of an eye. Xuanyin, it's not that I won't tell you, but after my reincarnation, I don't remember many things in my previous life. But I still remember some things, that is, the many geniuses who were placed under the master's door back then. Then, Wei Tian told Xuanyin about the past. After hearing Wei Tian talk about the evil disciples that Yi Fan had once taught, Xuanyin and Xuanhuan couldn't help but take a breath. Someone actually reached the realm of fighting spirit at birth, and broke through the fighting spirit at the age of 10. It's really terrifying. Xuanyin breathed, while Xuanyin and the other two were rushing to the 10,000 mountains. Jingzhou, the closest to Beizhou, was in a war. Beiyou is one of the 30,000 dayas, with more than 178,000 domains under it. Beizhou and Jingzhou are just the poorest and most backward areas in these more than 100,000 dayas. In Jingyu, there is a sect called Fumotianzong. This place has flying eaves and pavilions, and the towers are jade-like. It is ancient and sacred. It seems that it has stood for many years. It can be called a paradise on earth, but now, there is a war here, floating all over the ground, like a scene of hell. In front of the sect, on an empty platform. At this time, the place was full of soldiers wearing armor, holding all kinds of weapons in their hands. Each of them was tall and straight, and it was obvious that they were well-trained soldiers. The most frightening thing was that each of these soldiers had reached the War King realm. 10,000 War King realms, lined up in a row. How magnificent! In front of the soldiers, there stood two high-spirited generals. Both generals had the war candidate cultivation, and had reached the 7th level of war candidate. In the air in front of them, there was also a young man standing in the void, and in his eyes, colorful divine light spread, like a sky fire brewing. The young man looked at the middle-aged man who was suppressed below, and said coldly, "Surrender. It's only a matter of time before Jingyu is sacrificed. Not only Jingzhou, we will also go to Beizhou next. Unify all 30,000 Daozhou." That the middle-aged man spat out a mouthful of blood, thinking to himself, "It's okay for you to come to Jingzhou, but you actually dare to go to Beizhou where Master is." Chapter 55 What is the Starlight Saint? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 55 What is the Starlight Saint? Lord, the Shang dynasty in Beizhou, outside the forbidden area for cultivation. The forbidden area of the Shang dynasty is where the royal family of the Shang kingdom cultivates, and ordinary people absolutely dare not approach. In addition to the guards, there is also the Shang dynasty ancestor, His Majesty Yi Fan, outside the forbidden area today. Because of Yi Fan's status, no one dares to stop him. Not only did they not dare to stop him, the guards also thoughtfully brought tables and chairs to Yi Fan. Not long after, another maid brought fruit drinks to Yi Fan. Yi Fan is waiting for someone, or waiting for an improvement in realm. The one in the forbidden area is Jiangyue. After returning from the Biopuzi secret realm, she has a lot of insights and is now in seclusion, and Yi Fan personally protects her. The reason why he attaches so much importance is that Jiangyue only needs to advance to the War Pill realm, and he can reach the War Emperor. Yi Fan sat alone outside the forbidden area, looking forward to this moment. As for Irika and others around him, he sent them all back to the Xuanhuan Mountains. After all, the Xuanhuan Mountains is Yi Fan's home, and it still needs someone to guard it. If someone sneaks in without a long eye, it will be bad. Yi Fan picked up a banana on the table and peeled it. While eating the banana, he looked at the 4 tokens on the table. The 4 tokens were lined up, and the numbers from 1 to 4 were engraved on them. All the forces I established in Beizhou are now gathered around me. When I advance to the Battle Queen, it's time to go to other continents and find other disciples. Yi Fan sighed in his heart. After living in seclusion for 10,000 years, he can finally go out again. Yi Fan was a little excited. If it weren't for that kind of thing, Yi Fan wouldn't be like this. When I break through to the War Emperor, I will go to the nearest Jingzhou first. I remember that my old ninth is there. This guy is the most heartless. He is so close to me, but he doesn't even come to see Master. I used to treat him so well. Thinking of this, Yi Fan shook his head. How come I have become like a grudge woman at my age? This is not good. At the same time, a pressure suddenly erupted in the forbidden area behind Yi Fan. Yi Fan's consciousness was pulled out, and a few minutes later, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Xiao Yeye finally broke through to the War Pill realm. Now it's my turn, right? Ding, congratulations to the host's descendant for advancing to the War Pill realm. The host is rewarded with a War Emperor's cultivation, that while Yi Fan was muttering, the system's prompt sounded. Finally, I finally advanced to the War Emperor. Yi Fan muttered to himself, feeling inexplicably moved, boom. Before he finished speaking, the sky and the earth changed color, and the wind and clouds were mighty. Endless fairy light spread in all directions, runes entangled, and the vast mana suddenly rose from below. As the saying goes, once you enter the battle realm, it is as deep as the sea, and from then on, you are a passerby, and now, Yi Fan finally broke through the shackles of the battle realm and advanced to the Battle Emperor realm. The reason why the Battle Emperor monk can be called the word Emperor, this weight can be imagined, if the battle monk is a prince, commanding an army and galloping on the battlefield, then the Battle Emperor army is the Emperor of this world, the most noble existence, commanding the three armies, who in the world can compete with him. A casual attack from the Battle Emperor monk can communicate the power of heaven and earth, and the changes in the wind and clouds and the sky are connected in a thought. The strange phenomenon outside the forbidden area lasted only for a moment, and was taken away by Yi Fan. The speed was so fast that the guards around thought they were dazzled for a while. Just like that, while Yi Fan was peeling the banana peel, he took the most critical step. However, this was only the first step of his comeback this time. Xuanhuan was far from Yi Fan's end, but a new starting point. In the forbidden area, Xuanhuan had already broken through, and there was no point for Yi Fan to stay here, so, Yi Fan ordered people to remove the tables and chairs, and then stepped out of the palace. Yi Fan planned to go to Tai Dynasty to have a look. Last time, he promised Tai King that he would go to attend its national ceremony. At this moment, Yi Fan was in Beizhou. If he didn't go to Tai Dynasty, it seemed unreasonable. Then, Yi Fan rushed in the direction of Tai Dynasty. On the other side, outside the palace of Tai Dynasty, early in the morning, Tai King, with the Prime Minister, and civil and military officials, waited here. Since the Great Xia Dynasty was destroyed by Yi Fan, the Tai Dynasty, which was next to the Great Xia Kingdom, annexed many territories of the Great Xia Kingdom, and replaced the Great Xia Kingdom, the title of the first dynasty of the northern province in one fell swoop. Seeing the king holding his breath and staring, all the civil and military officials were confused, not knowing who their king was waiting for. Could it be the Holy Lord of Xinghui Holy Land? If the Tai King heard their inner thoughts, he would sneer. What is the Xinghui Holy Lord? You know, Yi Fan can easily wipe out the existence of the fifth level of the war candidate with a wave of his hand. Is the Xinghui Holy Lord worthy of being called the strongest in Beizhou? There are fortune tellers in the city. Go and ask what the Xinghui Holy Lord is. What does he tell? What is he? The Tai King even secretly guessed, the demise of the Great Xia Kingdom is probably inseparable from that existence. If they can't take this opportunity to please Yi Fan, I'm afraid that their Tai Kingdom will repeat the mistakes of the Xia Kingdom. At this moment, the Tai King's expression suddenly tightened. The next moment, Yi Fan appeared in front of him. It was a shadowy figure, walking there, without any trace of time, looking like he was in his 20s. White clothes were whiter than snow, black hair was thick, eyes were bright, and seemed to see through everything. In his gestures, it seemed that the heaven and earth were resonating for him, and the long river of time was flowing. There is no doubt that anyone who saw this young man for the first time would be amazed and admired. Is this the person that the Tai King has been waiting for a whole morning? It is really amazing. Just one look, the soul seemed to fall into it. Welcome to the arrival of the senior. That while everyone was sighing, the Tai King bowed down. Following the king's action, the civil and military officials behind him also bowed to Yi Fan. 50,000 years after the Tai Kingdom, Emperor Yu brought civil and military officials to kowtow to Yi Fan, the common lord of Beizhou. Recorded in the Book of Emperor Yu, the top of the void in Beizhou, a warship of 10,000 meters is suspended here at this moment. In the luxurious cabin, a middle-aged general stepped in and said respectfully, "Son of God, Beizhou has arrived. Should we kill him immediately?" Hearing what the middle-aged general said, the young man in red lowered his eyes slightly and showed a playful smile at the corner of his mouth. Wait, escort that Jing Tang out first. Didn't he say that his master is here too? I want to kill his master in front of this guy. Then, I want to see how he can be stubborn. Chapter 56, Life and Death in Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 56 Critical Survival. After Yi Fan arrived, the Tai National Code began. Read. Senior, please go to the inner hall and sit for a while. After I have finished worshipping the heaven and earth, come and accompany me. The Lord of Tai bowed slightly and said to Mark, regarding the words of the Lord of Tai, Yi Fan nodded lightly. He came here this time for the good things of the Tai dynasty, although the food here is definitely not as good as that in Xuanhuan, but I'm used to eating delicacies from the mountains and seas, so it's good to have some country food once in a while to change my taste. The reason why he didn't want to be in the great Shang kingdom was because the Shang kingdom had been oppressed so miserably by the Xia kingdom before. In a short period of time, it may be difficult to restore national strength. Now, Jiang Bo, the leader of the Shang dynasty, eats coarse vegetables and light rice for every meal. If Yi Fan asked the Shang dynasty to open a small stove for him, it would be a bit unreasonable, since it was not available in the Shang dynasty. Yi Fan could only take this opportunity to come to Tai dynasty to eat some. As soon as Yi Fan sat down, the Lord of Tai came towards him. For example, after the king of the country has worshipped the heaven and the earth, he also has to worship the ancestors. This is the established process of the national code, but it was unthinkable for the leader of the Tai kingdom to sideline a senior who was suspected of being a 7th-level warrior. It's so rude. If you have time to worship your ancestors, wouldn't it be better to use this time to please the living ancestor in front of you? Seeing that the Lord of Tai respected Yi Fan so much, all the civil and military officials below were all confused. At first, these officials thought that Yi Fan might be the illegitimate son of the leader of the Tai kingdom and was preparing to train him to be the successor of the Tai dynasty. But later, they discovered that was not the case, because the Lord of Tai treated Yi Fan with such a respectful attitude, it didn't look like he was treating a junior. I'm afraid he wouldn't be like this to his own father. While eating Tai dynasty's delicacies, Yi Fan suddenly frowned slightly and looked up into the distance. Seeing Mark like this, the leader of Tai kingdom was stunned and said hurriedly, Senior, what's the matter? Is the food not to your appetite? It's okay, I just found a group of buzzing flies. After saying this, Yi Fan continued to eat with his head down. Buzzing flies? Seeing Yi Fan say this, the leader of Tai kingdom was a little confused and didn't know what Yi Fan meant by this. Just when the leader of Tai kingdom was about to ask, suddenly, the color of the world suddenly changed. Boom. Click. As thunder and lightning appeared in the air, black and purple demonic energy suddenly surged out. As if dark clouds were covering the sky, complicated runes spread, and the terrifying pressure spread like a wave in all directions. Boom. Demonic clouds gathered, dark clouds rolled, and black thunder echoed across the world. The clear sky that was originally thousands of miles away was suddenly blocked by the heavy sky. At a glance, it was more than thousands of miles away. Dark clouds are coming over the city. And in the center of this black cloud, there is a ferocious giant head revealed. This head is so big that all living creatures in Beizhou can see it by looking up. Along with the vast demonic energy, complicated runes spread in the air. At this moment, all the creatures in Beizhou felt as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them, making them unable to breathe. It was as if he had encountered an ancient creature whose dignity could not be desecrated. Surrender. Only the word surrender comes to mind. As soon as the terrifying coercion appeared, the entire Beizhou, except for the monks in the Xuanhuan realm, all trembled. They have lost all their ability to resist, and this is the only thing they can do at this moment. He just prostrated himself under this pressure and couldn't stop kowtow. At this moment, the giant head in the center of the black cloud spoke the truth, as if the sound of thunder suddenly exploded in the ears of all living beings in Beizhou. Listen to the truth to the people of Beizhou. The 7 divine sons of the great Dao domain are now coming across the territory with their divine weapons and generals, just to conquer the barbarians and spread enlightenment. Beizhou is a land of barbarians. If any living being in Beizhou voluntarily sacrifices, the 7th Son of God will not forget your merits. I hope you will not fail to appreciate them. that the sound reached 9 heavens and 10 places, floating in the ears of all living beings in Beizhou. Gradually, the faces of all the creatures in Beizhou fell. Is this the rhythm of sacrificing them? Sacrifice is a kind of evil magic commonly used on the battlefield. Before the Tianqian dynasty, the fire demon used this kind of evil magic. This technique passes through the sacrificer, paying the price of the dissipation of the flesh and blood body and the soul. In exchange for the caster, a certain level of improvement will be achieved. If it succeeds, all the creatures sacrificed will inevitably die. Their souls will be scattered, and they will never be reincarnated. It is precisely because of this that this technique is classified as evil. But now, the Son of God who did this actually wants to use all the living creatures in Beizhou as sacrifices, in exchange for his improvement in realm. How vicious is this practice? Immediately, not only did all the creatures in Beizhou change their colors, but even those powerful warriors in the warring state became angry. The Son of God of the Great Tao realm actually openly sacrifices an entire continent and billions of living beings without fear of harming Tianhe. In the Beizhou territory, a war-ready first-level monk couldn't help but scold it. Boom! This is unreasonable. How can you, the Son of God, be allowed to dictate how the Son of God behaves? Before the warrior had finished speaking, the huge head in the air let out a loud roar. At a certain moment, countless lightning flashed in the giant's 2 eyes like scorching suns, like a punishment from heaven. A terrifying lightning poured down from the sky and directly pressed on the first-level warrior monk. With just this one blow, the warrior monk was scared to death on the spot. A high-level warrior monk. After feeling the pressure from the giant, the other warriors in Beizhou were horrified. It turned out to be a high-level warrior monk. You know, the highest level existence in the entire Beizhou is only the Xinghui Saint Lord who is at the peak of the 3rd level of the warrior. That's just a low-level warrior. There is not even a middle-level warrior in the entire Beizhou. How can they resist the killing of a high-level warrior? Then, the faces of these warriors in Beizhou turned pale and turned iron blue, because, just as they were thinking, there was another pressure from a high-level warrior monk, covering most of the Beizhou. Combined with the previous high-level warrior monk, the entire Beizhou is now shrouded in its pressure. In other words, the fate of their state, the life and death of all the creatures in it, are now in their hands. At this moment, all the warrior monks in Beizhou who dared to speak out just now are now completely desperate. If there is a high-level warrior monk, with the help of all the warrior monks in Beizhou, there may be a glimmer of hope, but now 2 high-level warrior monks have come directly, and the situation has changed suddenly. To escape from the hands of 2 high-level warrior monks, this difficulty is no different from climbing to the sky on foot. Beizhou has now reached a critical juncture of survival. Chapter 57. Let me sacrifice you first. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 57. I'll sacrifice you first. It's over, it's over. 2 high-level warriors have come at once. In Tai country, when the Lord of Tai saw 2 warriors appear, his face suddenly fell. Read. Why would the Son of God from the Tao realm come to us? This person is so vicious that he wants to sacrifice all the creatures in our Beizhou. The Lord of Tai was muttering in his heart. The temple of the Tao realm is the one that controls more than 100,000 states in the Tao realm. In the eyes of the people in Beizhou, the Tao temple is really like a god's residence. All the people who come out of the Tao temple are definitely not ordinary people. Not to mention that at this moment, the 7th Son of God in the temple is here in person. But now, the supreme 7th Son of God means that he wants to sacrifice them. This is simply too much. However, perhaps in the eyes of the 7th Son of God, they, the creatures of Beizhou, are not even considered human beings. If not, how could the 7th Son of God say that they would be sacrificed? Judging from this behavior, in the eyes of this Son of God, these creatures in their northern province are just like livestock, and they can be slaughtered, bled and eaten. At the moment of life and death, all the creatures in northern province want to fight back. However, now facing 2 high-level warriors, they don't even have the courage to resist. You know, now on the surface, there are 2 high-level warriors, but the Son of God is here now. Even the generals under his command are so powerful, so how great should the cultivation of this Son of God be? When thinking of this, all the creatures in northern province felt bitter, not only ordinary creatures, but also the Lord of Tai. At this moment, the face of Tai King was pale, and he said in despair, it's over, God wants to destroy our Beizhou. Prime Minister, call the historian immediately and ask him to quickly record the evil deeds of the 7 gods' sons so that future generations will know, that it is now an established fact that Beizhou will be destroyed. Instead of doing nothing here, it is better to take advantage of this time to call the historian first and record the evil deeds done by the god's son today, spread it to future generations. If Beizhou can become a brilliant person in the future, perhaps, they can also avenge their ancestors. King, I'm afraid the historian can't be called, said Prime Minister Tai sadly. Why? King, under the pressure of the high-level battle, the historian was scared like a sieve, and had no strength to hold the pen. Besides, it was the god's son of the temple who took action today. I'm afraid that our Beizhou will be wiped out, and there will be no successors at all. The Prime Minister of Tai smiled bitterly at the king. Hearing this, the Tai king, who had just stood up with difficulty, sat down on the stool again, his face full of dejection. There is no greater sorrow than a dead heart. Hearing what the Prime Minister said just now, the Tai king's heart was dead. Yes, now that the son of the temple has taken action, how can they leave Beizhou with the possibility of a comeback? It is necessary to rain down the sky fire, kill all the creatures in Beizhou, and then destroy all the civilizations in Beizhou. If it really comes to that, Beizhou will completely become a wasteland, and it is afraid that it will be difficult for creatures to appear again for billions of years. When the Tai king was decadent, he raised his head suddenly and saw Yi Fan on the side. The latter was still eating wine and food by himself at this moment, and didn't take what was happening in front of him to heart at all. Seeing this scene, the Tai king's eyes almost popped out. Former, senior, are these dishes so delicious? You don't care at all when you are about to die. The Lord of Tai opened his mouth and prepared to ask Yi Fan about his next plan. At the same time, Yi Fan slowly stood up and walked straight outside. Seeing this, the Lord of Tai hurriedly followed him. Senior, where are you going? Now Yi Fan is the only hope of the Lord of Tai. If possible, the Lord of Tai will never leave Yi Fan for half a step, and even wish to become a pendant and tie it to Yi Fan's thigh. Go and kill those buzzing flies. You know, I don't like it too noisy when I eat. After speaking, Yi Fan's figure dissipated bit by bit. Don't like it too noisy when I eat? The Lord of Dei was at a loss at first, not knowing what Yi Fan meant by this. Before in the 10,000 mountains, Yi Fan compared the invading middle-level warrior to a fly, then he slapped the middle-level warrior to death with one palm. Thinking of this, the Lord of Tai reacted. Senior, are you going to attack the temple? But the cultivation of the son of the temple is definitely higher than that of the middle-level warrior. Can the senior deal with it? The top of the void in Beizhou, the 7 sons of the temple dressed in red sneered at Jing Tang opposite him. You told me before that your master exists in Beizhou, and you also said that your master can kill me with one palm. Now, I am standing in Beizhou. Why has your master become a turtle and dare not come out? Bah, how can you covet the strength of the master? Jing Tang said coldly. You are still stubborn when you are about to die. General Jinwu, report the list of cultivators above the warrior level that you have explored in Beizhou. As ordered by your highness, the son of the god, after my investigation, the highest cultivation level in Beizhou is only the peak of the warrior level, and there is no one who has reached the middle level of the warrior level. General Jinwu reported. What? Not even a mid-level warrior? How is that possible? Just now our brother said that his terrifying master is also in this northern province. His master can kill me with one palm. How could there be no mid-level warrior? The 7th son of God was full of sarcasm. Reporting to his highness, the son of God, I have used the ancient divine weapon to explore many times, and I will definitely not be wrong. General Jinwu said again. Jing Tang didn't care when he heard it, but sneered, the ability of the master, in fact, you can explore it. Okay, you continue to stay in this state. The 7th son of God showed a hint of amusement in his eyes. After I destroy the entire northern province, I want to see how you can still be stubborn. General Jinwu, give the order to start. This son of God will support you. Yes. As the army was sent down, the 7th son of God in the void was full of indifference. The waste of Beizhou, there is not even a mid-level warrior, it is worse than waste. You waste air when alive and waste land when dead, it is better to help me, the seventh son of God, and it can be considered that you have made a little contribution, ha ha ha. After a pause, the seventh son of God glanced at Jing Tang. I changed my mind, now I will use you as a sacrifice, and ask if you are afraid. The seventh son of God took out a knife from somewhere in his hand and shook it in front of Jing Tang. Jing Tang opened his mouth and was about to speak, but an extremely cold voice came first. You bastard, if you don't let go of my disciple within 3 breaths, I will poke 180,000 holes in you. Chapter 58, The Emperor of War is angry, and the storm retreats. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 58, The War Emperor is angry and the storm retreats. Whoever is pretending to be a fool, get out of here. Shouted a warlord in front of the seventh son of God's hall. Red, the warlord didn't know where the voice came from, because he was in a half-step battle-ready state because of his lack of strength. However, the seventh son of God, as a high-level monk during the war, can naturally identify the source of this sound. He subconsciously headed in one direction. The next moment, an ethereal figure appeared. He was dressed in white clothes and looked very majestic, with sparkling eyes. Master, Jing Tang, who was tied up with magic weapons below, couldn't help shouting after seeing this voice. Even if tens of thousands of years have passed, he still dare not forget his master's figure, and it will be engraved in his heart. I still remember that more than 10,000 years ago, it was a scene similar to today. He fought in neighboring countries, was defeated by the local generals and was imprisoned. At the critical moment, it was Master Yi Fan who took action in time and rescued him. Not only did he save him, but he also single-handedly killed all the soldiers from neighboring countries. But even so, his land was completely destroyed at this moment. Having lost all his support, he knelt before his master Yi Fan and begged him to change his surname to Yi and become his adopted son, Yi Fan. But Yi Fan also refused. Jing Tang will always remember what Master Yi Fan said to him. Wherever you fall, you have to get up. You are the only one left in Jing Kingdom. If you change your surname, there will be no such name in the world. At the same time, Yi Fan was still happy that he had changed his name. People in this world may not understand the meaning of the word Tang, but in Yi Fan's world, the Tang dynasty was the most prosperous dynasty, with people from all over the world coming to dominate the world. Jing Tang, I hope you will practice well in the future and rebuild your country. To this day, he still vividly remembers the scene when Mark gave him his name. It was precisely because of Yi Fan's appearance that he stood up again under the huge blow. For him, Yi Fan is not only his master, but also his mentor in life. At this moment, the master and apprentice met again. Jing Tang couldn't help but feel excited, so much so that he burst into tears without even realizing it. So you are his master? The seventh son of God glanced at Mark with a playful look. If you were one step later, I'm afraid I would have to collect the body of your precious apprentice. If my apprentice loses a hair, I will make you irrecoverable. You can try it. Yi Fan let out a muffled groan. After finishing speaking, before the seventh son of God could react, the generals around him yelled, "How brave! How dare you talk to the son of God like this? You are so impatient." With the warlords shouting, Yi Fan suddenly appeared in front of the seventh son of God in the rear. This was noticed by the soldiers in front. The next moment, endless pressure swept towards Yi Fan. This coercion was also mixed with the auras of 2 7th-level warriors. Therefore, even high-level monks who are ready for war cannot withstand this pressure. However, Yi Fan just stood there without moving at all. At a certain moment, the 7-colored holy light spread in Yi Fan's eyes, like fire brewing from the sky. Boom! The golden holy flame broke out, and 2 golden red lights suddenly burst out in Yi Fan's eyes. As soon as a pair of eyes opened and closed, the bodies of the billions of troops in front of him were shattered into pieces. 2 generals who were waiting for the 7th level of battle thought they were standing at the front of the team, bear the brunt of the first wave of attacks. Then, under the eyes of Yi Fan, Xuanhuan's high-level cultivation level had no possibility of struggling. 2 7th-level monks who were waiting for the war fell on the spot, their bodies and souls disappeared. At one glance, all the hundreds of millions of troops were killed. What a terrifying power this is! You must know that in these armies, they are all War King monks, and there are also many warlords who have reached half-step war status, or even low-level war status, but now, under the glance of the young man in white, the entire army was wiped out. How shocking and spectacular! 100,000 mountains, Xuanyin and other descendants of Yi Fan also saw this scene through the void. They were also shocked and speechless. Oh my God! The Ancestor is so mighty and domineering. With just one glance, he slaughtered hundreds of millions of troops. Xuanyin was inexplicably excited. When will I be able to cultivate to the level of my Ancestor? The land of Tai, the corners of Tai Kingdom's mouth couldn't stop twitching. The senior is still the same senior, just like when I slapped a mid-level monk to death with one palm, it always brings him surprises. Starry Holy Land, the corners of Xinghui Holy Master's eyes twitched fiercely, staring intently at Yi Fan in the void. It turns out that this person is the mastermind behind the scenes. That he remembered that he had promised Xia Chaoga to deal with Yi Fan together. I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Fortunately, I didn't really take action against Mark. Otherwise, I don't know how he died. Even the high-level monks who were waiting for the war could not block his gaze. If you really had a head-on confrontation with others, you would be really stupid. The top of the void, although Yi Fan used his magical powers to suppress and kill hundreds of millions of soldiers, however, there were still two high-level warlords who were waiting for the war and did not line up because they were in front of the seventh son of God. Therefore, it was not affected. Even so, at this moment, among the soldiers brought by the seven god sons, these two are the only ones left. The two remaining high-ranking warriors were also extremely shocked by the scene just now. They never expected that Yi Fan looked so ordinary on the surface, but at the critical moment, he could burst out with such power. Millions of soldiers, plus two high-level monks, could not resist his eyes. Such a trembling breath, I am afraid it has surpassed the realm of the warrior. Oh, you are quite capable. I didn't expect that there are monks like you in such a remote place in Beizhou. Well, you are qualified to fight with me now. Seventh son of God Buyun was refreshed, looking at Yi Fan with a look that was not as cold as before, but with a bloodthirsty meaning. Before the voice fell, seventh son of God Buyun took action. The sky and the earth changed color, and the wind and clouds were mighty. Infinite divine light filled the four directions. Under this pressure, the void was shattered, and even this world could not stop shaking. You loser, are you worthy of fighting with me? One move will make you feel bad. Yi Fan did not move, and raised his head calmly under the pressure of destroying the world. You bastard, prepare to die. Crack, that with a loud noise, the spiritual energy on Yi Fan's body suddenly boiled up. It was like a volcanic eruption. The extreme darkness bloomed, the colorful divine light flowed, and around him, endless fairy runes surged. The terrifying pressure was vast and mighty. It was as if the god of death had descended, and wherever the dark fairy energy passed, everything was withered and silent. The rolling fairy clouds rose into the sky, covering everything in the world. The Emperor of War was angry, and the wind and clouds retreated. What son of God, what divine light, under Yi Fan's punch, all disappeared. In the distance, all the creatures in Beizhou heard a roar. Ah, are you a human or a ghost? Chapter 59 Xuanyin Sun Shooting Arrow. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Northern State, the top of the void, under Yi Fan's punch just now, this small world was completely torn apart. The void was torn apart, and the mountains and rivers were flooded, as if the world was destroyed. Not only that, even the sun and the moon in the sky were trembling. Impossible, this is impossible, Buyun exclaimed in the violent golden holy flame, looking at the seventh son of God, Buyun, who was so arrogant just now. His body was already full of holes. I said, you can't block my move. A ray of light shot through the body of the seventh son of God, and a punch smashed the remaining armor, and then the power of the ray of light did not weaken, it just paused slightly in the void, and then shot towards Buyun again. Under this kind of divine power, everything was dead and silent wherever the spiritual light passed. As if all the vitality was instantly extracted, all the clouds and even the barriers of the void within a radius of 10,000 miles turned into nothingness in an instant. The rolling space turbulence was surging, and the mighty spiritual power tide was surging. Under the astonished eyes of all the creatures in Beizhou, this ray of light once again illuminated the entire top of the void. Even the seventh son of God Buyun and the huge divine ship under his feet exploded into pieces under the boiling vitality. Just a ray of light actually killed the 9th-level monk of the war candidate. This person is so amazing, why have I never heard of his name? In Beizhou, there were monks in the war candidate who saw Yi Fan's great power and couldn't help but exclaimed, not only him, but also the Lord of Tai, the Lord of Xinghui, or all the creatures in Beizhou. After seeing the scene on the top of the void, all were shocked and excited. There were also old people in Beizhou who were moved to tears. They were born and raised here. After the arrival of the people in the temple, they thought they would sleep here forever, but they didn't expect that at this critical moment of Beizhou's survival, such a strong man actually appeared in their Beizhou, who could kill hundreds of millions of heavenly soldiers and generals of the temple with just a glance. What kind of great power and what kind of cultivation can do this? Just as many creatures in Beizhou were trembling, the war on the top of the void was over. It just started and it was over. This was undoubtedly a huge mockery for the 7 sons of the temple. Buyun, who was in the 9th heaven of the war-waiting realm, couldn't resist Yi Fan's eyes. I am the 7th son of the Tao temple, how dare you do this? Buyun felt an extremely domineering force shattering his spiritual power under the terrifying eyes of Yi Fan. He couldn't help but think that he had said that Yi Fan was qualified and worthy of playing a few tricks with him just now, but now, he didn't make a single move, and suppressed him with just a look, until this moment. Buyun had a new understanding of Yi Fan's strength, obviously, the one who could deal with a 9th level warrior so easily must have surpassed the realm of the warrior. You actually reached the realm of the warrior emperor. I never thought that a warrior emperor would be born in such a remote place like Beizhou. This is really a bit unique. Buyun was incredible. He always thought that there might not even be a high-level warrior in such a remote place like Beizhou. Unexpectedly, at this moment, he actually ran into a warrior emperor. Should this be said to be his bad luck, or that he took it for granted? Crack! Just as Buyun was speaking, the spiritual energy in his body finally couldn't resist the pressure that came. Cracks appeared on his divine body, and the next moment, Buyun was crushed by Yi Fan's eyes. I will come back. Before Buyun died, he let out a desperate roar. Yi Fan ignored Buyun's last words. So far, all the hundreds of millions of heavenly soldiers and generals from the Tao realm and the high-ranking 7th god's son who was waiting for the battle were killed by Yi Fan. Just now, Yi Fan killed the 7th god's son Buyun with his eyes, and killed hundreds of millions of heavenly soldiers and generals with a punch. Therefore, at this moment, on the top of the void in Beizhou, except for Yi Fan and Jing Tang, there was no one alive. I said it before, you are just hitting a rock with an egg. Ha 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 ha. In front of Yi Fan, Jing Tang laughed and started crying, and then he flew to Yi Fan. Plop, Jing Tang knelt in front of Yi Fan. Master, the unworthy disciple Jing Tang greets the master. Master, how are you all these years? After the disciple established the sect in Jingzhou, he wanted to come back to visit the master many times, but he suffered from many sect affairs, so he never got out of it. Jing Tang, this iron-blooded man, did not cry when the sect was destroyed and his relatives were killed, but at this moment, he knelt in front of Yi Fan, crying. Okay, Lao Jiu, you are still so fond of crying, you are really a crybaby. Yi Fan slapped Jing Tang on the head, and his face showed a smile like an old father. Jing Tang was slightly startled, but then he showed an ecstatic look. Master, so you don't blame me. 10,000 years ago, before Jing Tang left Yi Fan, he said that he would come back to see him, but after he went to Jingzhou to set up the Fumo sect, he knew what it meant to be busy with affairs. Because of this reason, Jing Tang never came back to visit Yi Fan once. Nonsense, you are still my disciple, there is no need to say these nonsense. Come back to the 10,000 mountains with me. It just so happens that Lao Ba is also there at the moment. Yi Fan said angrily. Hee hee. Jing Tang smiled naively. Is the 8th senior brother here too? I have never seen my senior brothers and sisters. Jing Tang was the last disciple that Yi Fan accepted before he retired to seclusion. Before he came, many of Yi Fan's disciples had already left Beizhou to go out on their own. Then, Yi Fan took him and disappeared into the distance. At this moment, all the living beings in Beizhou came back to their senses. after they came back to their senses, the first thing they did was to kneel down and worship where Mark was, just now. If Mark hadn't taken action, their lives would have been in danger, and because they didn't know Yi Fan's Taoist name, the people of Beizhou gave Yi Fan the title of co-lord of Beizhou. The words are divided into two parts: avenue domain, temple, the seventh divine peak. In a temple, there was a young man in the temple, walking with his hands behind his back, muttering to himself, "Hey, my clone's life tablet is actually broken. I remember that this clone went to Beizhou. Who is he with such strength that he can kill my clone?" That the person who spoke was obviously Buyun, but the difference is that Buyun at this time is much stronger than the one in Beizhou before. "What a Beizhou, dare to destroy my clone? No, I will take the teleportation formation over there and take revenge myself." Buyun's eyes were cold. He took out the teleportation array and wanted to go to Beizhou in person. At this moment, Buyun suddenly felt that the world and the earth were dimming. The next moment, I saw a divine arrow condensed with 7-colored divine light, shooting through the avenue with overwhelming force. Buyun sensed this arrow. The corners of his eyes twitched. Xuanyin shoots a sun arrow. Zhengxing. Are you crazy? In the dark, a cold voice reached Buyun's ears. Beizhou is my hometown. You are not allowed to go there to cause trouble again. That when Buyun heard this, he had a cold war for no reason. His relationship had been turbulent for a long time. Beizhou is actually your hometown? Chapter 60 The Three Sons of the Temple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 60 The Three Sons of God in the Temple. Click. Xuanyin shot a sun arrow, which finally exploded above the seventh divine peak, directly cutting off a corner of the mountain, forming a half-moon-shaped arc of light waves. Such a huge movement attracted the attention of many disciples in the temple. Oh my god, this looks like the Xuanyin shooting sun bow of the third god sun. Guai Long Dilong, the magic power of the three gods has improved a lot. Just now I actually felt like the world was about to be destroyed. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Brothers, what kind of secret skill is Xuanyin Sun Arrow? Why have I never seen it in the temple? This is not the method of the temple, but the secret skill of the three divine sons of the temple. It is by relying on this secret skill that the three divine sons were absorbed into the temple and became the sons of gods. At the opposite end, it is said that when the chaos of the great Tao domain was first divided, a monster harmed one side. The monster transformed into 7 scorching suns, baking the great Tao territory day and night. The people of the great Tao territory were in dire straits. In the end, it was the son of 3 gods who shot the monster to death. Oh my god, are you so strong? It's rare but strange. Do you think the 3 gods have this little strength? It is said that the Xuanyin sun shooting arrow is the strongest, not the sun shooting arrow, but the 2 characters Xuanyin in front of it. You taste it carefully. Hey, it's scary to think about it. Just as the temple disciples were talking about it, above the void on the 3rd peak of the temple, a figure stood here, and in an instant, the heaven and earth began to shake, and a sound like a yellow bell echoed in the endless void. This is a terrifying strong man. He is tall, with bulging muscles, and his short hair is as thorny as silver needles. He looks like a humanoid bear walking upright. His eyes were shining brightly, and what was even more eye-catching was the bow and arrow in his hand that were almost as long as his body. On the bow body, there were faint arcs of thunder and flames dancing. He is surprisingly the 3rd divine son of the great Tao domain temple, Zhengxing. Speaking of Zhengxing, it can be said that no one in the Tao domain knows about it. I think back then, when the chaos in the great Tao domain first opened, there were many monsters and beasts causing trouble. Among them, there is a monster named Golden Crow. The Golden Crow transforms into 10 scorching suns and scorches the great Tao domain day and night for the rest of its life. The great Tao realm is wailing all over the land, and the name is worthless. The temples in the great Tao domain are currently busy competing with other temples and have no time to care. At this moment, Zhengxing took the Xuanyin sun bow and shot down 9 Golden Crow incarnations in the sky, leaving only one for the Tao domain monks to illuminate. Because of this, Zheng Xing was favored by the temple and made an exception to accept him as the third son of God. Everyone in the Dao domain knows Xing Xing's illustrious reputation. However, only Xing Xing himself knew that everything he had now was given to him by his master. Standing on the top of the third peak of the temple, Xing Xing looked with forlorn eyes, looking in the direction of Beizhou, and murmured to himself, "It's been so long since we've seen each other, master, how are you doing lately? I'll be sure to wait until I finish my chores. Go and visit master in person." Beizhou, 100,000 mountains. Yi Fan is destined not to know the feelings of Yi Fan's former disciple Xing Xing. He took Jingtang back to Xuanhuan. He called Xiao Dyer and others to celebrate with a barbecue party outdoors. If this person stays in Xuanhuan mountain for a long time, even a god will feel lonely. What's more, it's Mark. "Master, you are back, but you have made us wait so hard. Master, there is something you have to decide for me." As soon as he returned to Xuanhuan mountain, Wei Tian, a fat Taoist priest, came up to Yi Fan and chatted incessantly. He almost annoyed Yi Fan to death and pushed his fat body away. Yi Fan rolled his eyes and said, "Damn it, you haven't taken a shower for a long time. You smell this smell on your body and it's all rotten. Do you know it? Come on. Go and take a shower, or I'll give you 100 brain-destroying blows." Hearing this, Wei Tian quickly begged for mercy. "No, master, you have to make the decision for me first." Seeing that Wei Tian refused to leave, Yi Fan couldn't do anything to him, so he asked angrily, "What's going on? If you have something to say it quickly, and if you have any nonsense, say it quickly." "Hey master, I knew you were the best to me." Wei Tian, Yi Fan, will you tell me or not? "Tell me, it's like this." After Wei Tian's narration, Yi Fan learned what had just happened. It turns out that after Wei Tian took Xiao Xian back to Xuanhuan, Xiao Xian dragged him to a competition. He also said that Wei Tian's 9 turns of reincarnation technique was not as good as his star technique. Upon hearing what Yi Fan said, Wei Tian's anger suddenly rose. "You are the only one who is useful, but you are so useless. Have you ever tried 2 tricks? Okay, Master Dao just has itchy hands, so you can make some gestures." In this way, Wei Tian and Xiao Xian had a duel. However, because Wei Tian had just finished practicing the 9-turn reincarnation attack, his previous life skills had not yet been restored. In this situation, Wei Tian is naturally no match for Xiao Xian in the battle's soul realm. In desperation, Wei Tian took out the magic weapon given to him by Yi Fan and attacked Xiao Xian secretly, thus winning the battle. As a result, Xiao Xian stopped doing anything. Not only did they not admit that Wei Tian won the fight, but they also said that he did not follow martial ethics. Just for this time, Wei Tian wanted to ask Yi Fan for comment. Upon hearing this, Yi Fan shook his head helplessly. "Damn fat man, you'll talk about your nonsense later. Let me introduce you first. This is your 9th junior brother. I picked it up on the road." Yi Fan pointed at Jingtang. "9th junior brother. Okay, the barbecue is over. I'm going to take Xiaojiu to Nanzhou now." Yi Fan learned from the 7 gods of the temple that the temple was coming to attack Nanzhou this time. Yi Fan remembered that he also had some forces in Nanzhou, so he naturally had to go to help. The Dao domain, Zijinzu. Zijinzu is different from Nanzhou and Beizhou, 2 remote places. It is a veritable cultivation state. In this land, there are cultivators who have surpassed the realm of War Emperor. War Emperor is said to be the emperor of a world, who can communicate with the power of heaven and earth, but it is only limited to this. War Emperor is not like Warlord, who can communicate with the power of the origin of the Tao. At this time, under a tomb in Zijinzu, a group of tomb robbers dug up an immovable immortal crystal. "You've made a fortune, but you didn't touch the immortal crystal. It looks like the quality is at least top grade. You know nothing. I'd say the quality of this immortal crystal is probably top grade." "Hiss, is it so amazing? Then let's open the immortal crystal and see if there are any treasures stored inside." Then, the tomb robbers carefully cut along the lines of the immortal crystal. In the shock on the tomb robbers' faces, they saw what was inside the immortal crystal. What is this?" In the deathly silent underground mausoleum, a tomb robber exclaimed. The next moment, the tomb robber's expression froze.